Towards the tail end of 2018, I'd been working as an IT guy at a high school for around 2 years and was bored out of my skull. Freshly 20 years old and with a laundry list of dreams I was desperate to live out, I decided to follow one of my earliest aspirations. When I was in primary school, I cherished an ambition to become a pilot. My parents took me to a few air shows and I was obsessed with everything to do with planes. I would play games about flying almost religiously, and one of my most vivid childhood memories is of borrowing Ace Combat Squadron Leader from the kid up the street and playing it all the way through repeatedly, to the point where I could recite the character's lines verbatim. I left behind my comfortable, reliable job and dove headfirst into my next adventure. I had decided to attend Cera Aviation at the Moorabbin Airfield and began my training in December of 2018. This was a decision that I would later come to regret. But the flashy ad campaign and spotless presentation really sold me on the place. I still remember the feeling of dubious anticipation I began to feel when, just a few short weeks before I was scheduled to begin my training, I saw a news article about a SOAR student whose plane had crashed. I remember asking about it at the orientation and being told the issue had been with the student flying the plane, but it still felt like a bad omen. By late 2019, I had reached the first step towards receiving a commercial pilot's license, achieving a recreational pilot certificate. Due to a host of clerical errors, I would never end up receiving this certificate, however, and in January of 2020, Cera Aviation informed their students that the Australian Skills Quality Authority, or ASQA, had deemed that SOAR was not meeting certain requirements and they would be shut down in 35 days. Luckily for me, I had begun applying for university a few months before all of this began. I hadn't necessarily seen the writing on the wall for SOAR, but I was definitely feeling as though I was in the wrong place and needed a change. I've always wondered if I had been noticing the warning signs, perhaps subconsciously, but somehow I doubt it. I received my letter of acceptance from RMIT just a few days after SOAR announced they had been served by ASQA, and I made my hasty exit soon after. While the school managed to appeal the decision, it was the beginning of a long, slow decline, and SOAR Aviation officially shut its doors in December of the same year. The SOAR building now sits empty, a lot where the sea of yellow planes once sat, replaced by a collection of brand new warehouses. The promises SOAR once handed out to every new student like free candy are now so much dust in the wind.